everyone, and welcome back to Season 3 of the Water Online Show. My name is Travis Kennedy, joined as always by my friend and colleague, Mr. Worldwide, Chief Editor here at Water Online, Mr. Kevin Westerling. We are powered by Water Online, and we cannot wait to bring you the episode that we have planned out today. Kevin, can you believe we're finally here in the calendar? Would you have thought a year ago that we'd be sitting here this fast with an entire list of topics to cover, things that we need to discuss, what to look out for? Can you tell the audience exactly what we're going to go over today?
Well, we're going to go over the top 10 trends for 2026 per our conversations with our audience members, our experts that I consult with.
Our guests on the Water Online Show.
On the Water Online Show are a big part of it. And all the publications. Not, you know what? Who cares about the other publications? I'm just kidding.
I mean,
no,
we are the leading online destination for the water wastewater market. Right. Other publications that we highly respect and we're resource out there, you know, associations and other trade journalistic ventures we fully support. And we're getting a lot of this, though, from our own internal discussions with our users, with our large user base, because we are worldwide.
We lean on the water community.
We do, yes. And we sort of act as that.
We appreciate them. Yeah.
Yes, without a doubt. And we appreciate them and all of you making Water Online the leading water online destination. So let's not delay this any further. I want to start off at the top. Like, why start at 10? I think everybody does that when they do these top 10 lists, right, Kev? They like start at 10
and create intrigue,
right? And they sort of break it down. This is really
give the people what they want.
Exactly. You know, and this is in no particular order of importance. But we are going to start off with a heavy hitter, one that is no stranger to any of you listening out there. If you do listen to the Water Online Show, you know that this is something that's been discussed and will be discussed throughout 2026. 4 little letters that mean
what could it be?
Oh, so much. Kevin, I'm going to give you first crack at guessing what it is. What do you think?
4 letters. We talked. I'm not even going to mess around with some kind of like joke. It's PFAS.
It's PFAS is a 4-letter word without a doubt. So EPA drinking standards are triggering large-scale investments in GAC, ion exchange, membranes, and destruction technologies. So sort of like transformers, right? Like destruction technologies that will go in and destroy this contaminant. And it is, without a doubt, based on what we've talked about, Kevin, this year with many guests that we've had on the Water Online Show, it's one of the biggest regulatory spend cycles in decades. So with that being said...
Spin cycle, that's interesting, yeah.
Spend
cycle.
Yeah,
it's also a spin cycle.
Right.
Listen, I mean, things are changing even as we speak with PFAS regulations. So I thought
there's no spin to it. There's no angle, no slant.
Not that kind of spin. It's a spin cycle.
PFAS is bad, and we're not going to sidestep that at all. It is definitely something.
No, we're not spinning that in.
Right, we're not spinning that. It is one.
More PFAS.
I'm going to read it again. What my notes say. It is one of the biggest regulatory spend cycles in decades. There's a lot of money going into this, right? And as there should be, every municipality in the United States is going to have to deal with this soon, now, tomorrow. But when I say tomorrow, I actually mean tomorrow. I mean, utilities need robust strategies for treatment, funding, infrastructure upgrades to actually meet the new. Now, I think it's 2029 now, right, Kev?
Yeah, the treatment has to be in place by 2029. You have to monitor first and see what you have. So everybody's got to at least invest in that. Hopefully, maybe you don't have any in your water, but it's turning up everywhere. I remember a time, TK, when here in Horsham, where our office is based, we thought we were one of the few pockets that were like, hot spots for PFAS. And they were localized like here and there. There was a couple other ones. But the more monitoring you do, the more you see that it's pretty much everywhere.
Without a doubt. I mean, we actually have an article on Water Online that you wrote not too long ago about, I think it's called the Horsham Way. And Horsham, Pennsylvania, where Kevin had noted, where the Water Online studios are and the home offices are. It was what we thought at the time was ground zero for this issue based on a Air Force base at Willow Grove, which is the next town over. So we thought this was very isolated to us and maybe a handful of other communities across the country. But you're right, Kevin, the more that we dug into it and the more we started giving it some exposure and some notice, it's everywhere.
Now look at it.
You know, I mean, now it's
Number one issue.
without a doubt. I mean, you can't go to any water conference without that issue coming up at least once. Now, there's others that come up as well that we're going to get to, but PFAS, emerging contaminants, they're driving CapEx in 2026. There's just no way around it. It's a big issue. Water Online has a lot of resources.
Heck yeah.
That will help walk you or anybody else that you want to educate on the topic, whether it be dealing with the PFAS contamination for your municipality, for your local area, if you are a resident, and you want to learn more about what's being done with PFAS, the options that your municipality and utility have to try and treat it. It's all there at Water Online. So head over to Water Online, check it out. A lot of good data there. Number two, topic number two for 2026. I'm going to go infrastructure here, right? I mean,
that's broad, but
right.
Yeah.
I mean, the funding bill isn't that far away, that far in our rear view mirror. The infrastructure, the funding part of it is now entering the build phase for a lot of this. So, Kevin, you and I have had a few episodes of the Water Online show, and I know there's still a lot of coverage again on Water Online about the Infrastructure Act and where those funds are going, how to go get them. There's an episode specifically here at the Water Online show in our archive about how you actually go about getting infrastructure funding. But to kind of put an overarching umbrella on it, it comes down to this, that federal and state funding is shifting from design to construction. So we're getting to work now.
Shovels in the ground.
That's it. Hitting the ground, prioritizing lead service line replacement, nutrient removal, climate resilience, all of those things that infrastructure is always correlated to as it relates to your local community. So I know that there was one of the episodes that we've done in the past here. I think it might have been a year ago this week, if I'm not mistaken. We had Pam Alardo on the show, who were
great guest.
Without a doubt, we're going to be welcoming back here in 2026 at some point. But a quote from her show, her episode, is that infrastructure investments must align with the utility's mission, vision, and values to serve the communities sustainably, not just keep systems running. So sustainability is a big term that we use broadly. We kind of play it fast and loose when it comes to that. But when we're talking about infrastructure and keeping systems running are in lockstep together. So it can't just be viewed in isolation. You can't just say, let's try to make a community sustainable, but also keep our systems running and have those be two different outcomes. It's the same outcome, right? And it all comes down to now that we're moving from infrastructure funding to, as you put it, Kevin, putting shovels to the ground.
Right. And build for the future.
That's it, man. That's what it's all about, right? And speaking of sustainability and building things for the future, number three, it's a term that we've used, not just us, we don't own it, we don't trademark it, we don't copyright it, but water reuse. It's going mainstream, sort of like Doc Martens and flannel did back in the 90s. Water reuse is now.
Hey dudes today.
Hey dudes today.
Hey dudes.
That's it. I don't have hey dudes yet, but I do know that they are a thing now. So hey dudes and water reuse, all about 2026. That's it. So potable and non-potable reuse expands beyond just drought regions, which we've talked about for how many almost decades now, where very arid, dry, drought-ridden areas really focus on water reuse more than others. But it's becoming a reliability and supply diversification strategy nationwide. Doesn't matter if you live in Pennsylvania, again, where the Water Online corporate offices are, or in anywhere in Idaho, Iowa, Texas, California, wherever. We have an episode of the Water Online show coming up, not too distant future, where we interviewed an engineer from Brown and Caldwell.
Yep.
Fred Geringer. And together, Brown and Caldwell, along with Hazen and Sawyer. We still don't know what happened to Sawyer. I think Sawyer's still there. Last we checked,
Anybody looking for Sawyer?
somebody should be trying to find them. But together, those two entities worked with the Water Reuse Association to create a water reuse state guidance aid. So each state can now have some guidance as to how they can go through the process of maximizing water reuse for the benefit of their communities, which is exciting stuff. I mean, there was that guidance on a state level just didn't exist before then.
Right. And that is expected in May
of this year.
Yep.
So we're just around the corner. So
be here before you know it.
without a doubt, but a lot going on as it relates to water reuse.
Mm-hmm.
Number 4, and this is kind of a mouthful here, so I'm going to try and say it without fumbling here, but digitalization.
Nailed it.
Yeah, nailed it at enterprise scale. So what does that even mean? Kevin, what does that mean to you?
Well, I would say everybody's going digital. I don't know if AI is on here anywhere, but can't avoid it. AI is everywhere. The whole digital transformation of the water industry.
Yep. Preach.
And then at enterprise scale. So I guess we're adopting these, as organizations, as enterprises, as municipalities. So it's going to be incorporated everywhere, more and more. That train is just chugging along.
Well, it's becoming commonplace, right? Like digitalization. Fumbled it for the first time, but I came back strong with it. It's everywhere. It's mainstream now. So it affects a lot of different aspects. It could be advanced SCADA, analytics platforms, ways to prove ROI. But the big one, as it relates to this category in particular, is the rise of AI. I mean, that's what everybody's going to be talking about and trying to work through and understand as we go into 2026. And
tremendous water implications for AI too.
Yeah, without a doubt.
We can talk about AI on its own and how it helps us and what it can do for operations.
Yeah.
But then behind the scenes, like there's the water aspects. So.
Yep. So without a doubt, when we talk about it, I know that we have a few episodes coming up of the Water Online Show. We're going to be talking about AI specifically. So there was an expert from Bentley that provided us some of her time, and we're going to have some of those highlights in a future episode in the not too distant future on the Water Online Show. But her name is Andrea Dumont. And we were talking about the use of AI as it relates to the aging workforce, which we're going to get to as another issue. Spoiler alert.
Okay.
We're going to talk about that next. But in her mind, as it relates to how do we continue to make AI more mainstream? How do we get people more comfortable with it? And her reaction and her answer was interesting. Here's what she said. Tell me what you think of this, Kevin. The people who were less used to it, less confident in it, and those are the ones that were worried that just maybe, it would disrupt their workplace, or that they might not have the right workflows. I mean, that's reasonable, right? So I think seeing more and more technology adoption is actually one of the ways that we can kind of target those barriers. So when we talk about what are barriers to digitalization of the water market, what she's saying, and I believe she's 100% accurate on this, is that the more we see it, the more comfortable we become with it. The municipalities, especially water, wastewater municipalities here in the United States, never really want to be the first one out of the box because you don't know specifically if it's going to work. That's why we do a lot of pilots in this industry. But we're seeing more and more utilities go digital at all various parts of their systems. So that's important to keep that momentum going because you're going to have to. Water, right?
Yeah. You know what I've noticed about AI too?
What's that?
It almost caters to the less technically inclined. Like, I mean, you can speak to AI like you would to a person.
Yep.
And just ask it like in your own way. You don't have to even have the right, technical terms or whatever. And it'll almost figure it out for you or at least clarify. And then, do that whole thing. It's just getting like scarily.
Yeah, frighteningly
more human.
Yes, and then you educated me more on the agentic AI, right? Where it's not just going to figure out an answer to a problem for you; it might actually implement the answer,
right?
And then we're all of a sudden in the world of the Terminator, right? Where, they might. I'm kidding. They're not going to have.
Say never.
They're not going to have a mind of their own. Where the water systems in the United States just start,
All right,
revolting.
I think we're spooking people now.
Yeah. All right. So, but we talked about the more that it's implemented, AI is implemented, the easier it's going to become for other municipalities to be able to adopt and be comfortable with.
Hmm.
And that brings me to topic number 5, which is again another topic we've talked a lot about over the years, which is workforce constraints, the silver tsunami, the great retirement, whatever you'd like to call it.
It's
And
funny because we have been talking about it for like a decade, and I'm wondering, did they retire?
I don't think
we
they
keep
did.
saying,
Right. I think they're still there, man. And good because they have a lot of knowledge. But
when we lose them, we lose a lot. So
we do. We lose a lot of knowledge walks out the door. But when that happens, that's also going to accelerate automation and digitalization, right? So operator retirements, in a sense, are going to drive adoption of advanced process control, remote operations, and decision support tools. Because again, you have decades worth of experience and knowledge walking out the door. You have a new workforce coming in who's used to more automation, more digitalization, more AI. So the fact that you sort of have that turnover is going to help drive change and perhaps open up more efficient avenues of getting things done with a less experienced workforce. So we did, again, another episode of the Water Online Show around this. And when we talked about it, one of the quotes that really stuck with me about it is workforce availability and capability rank alongside aging infrastructure as one of the biggest challenges facing utilities today. It's a real thing. It still is a real thing. But the good news is we have a very talented, intelligent, and eager workforce right behind them. So there's a lot to think about. I don't know if there's a lot to worry about, but there's definitely a lot to think about as it relates to workforce. Go ahead.
well, I was just thinking. I mean, a lot of people worry about being replaced by, automated, digitalized, processes.
We haven't found that to be the case, have we?
No,
No.
there's always going to be. I mean, we kidded around about how the machines are going to take over or whatever.
Right.
But you need a human there to make sure water is such an important, and regulated thing that there's always going to be a human that needs to ensure that things are getting done right. And so, and then you know what? The stuff you can automate safely, you go ahead and do that, and then it frees these operators and utility workers to go do other important things because there's plenty to do, and a lot of utilities have been shorthanded. So this it only helps, but we're always going to need the human element, of course.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, somebody's going to have to make some decisions because ultimately utilities and municipalities are tasked with the health of their constituents. And you need to have some kind of human element there to make sure that those decisions or even the answers that AI are coming up with perhaps are the correct ones, right? So without a doubt, this is not a replace kind of technology. This is a help us do our job better and more efficiently.
And another cool thing, like the digitalization aspect, when the silver tsunami hits, when our, older water professionals do leave before they go out the door, they can actually log. Oh, I've seen where they're logging their information, their institutional knowledge. They're putting it on wax. That's an old term for
putting it on wax. So the silver tsunami gang out there is probably like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Putting it in wax. The incoming workforce may be like, I have no idea what I'm just talking about.
Did that
But
just say
right. All right, moving on. Number 6, asset management and pipe rehab surge. So this goes along with like the infrastructure upgrades, right? We hear a lot about asset management. I mean, distribution system investment is going to rise sharply and continue to rise in 2026. At least that's what we are hearing and learning, with trenchless rehabilitation, leak detection, condition assessment becoming core utility priorities. So I don't know if a lot needs to be said about that other than the fact that it's not talked about to the extent that some of the other topics are. But at the same time,
it's always just kind of like
it's
in there
there.
lurking. I mean, we have pipes that have been in the ground for near 100 years.
Think about that.
Right. So, and the strategy would be to replace a little bit at a time. But I mean, if you can replace it smarter,
Yep.
go to it before there's a catastrophic break, figure out where you need it most, get there first, prioritize it. That's the whole asset management part, also enabled by digital technologies, of course.
That's it.
Yep.
Yeah, bringing it back to digital. I like it. So, yeah, not a lot to review there because we've talked about it at length over the years. It's always something that's going to be there for at least for the foreseeable future, as it has been in the recent past.
Right. And shout out to lead service lines, because I don't know if that's anywhere else. I think we did reference them, but like that's obviously a big topic, and that's part of pipe rehabilitation.
Yeah. Shout out to the lead service lines out there. We recognize you
not
for what
good,
you are.
but
Yeah. We see you all hiding in the ground. All right. Number 7, energy and carbon optimization. So utilities pursue energy neutral facilities through biogas recovery, right? Aeration optimization, energy efficiency upgrades. Kev, you and I talk a lot with our guests around what utilities and municipalities look for. And what they look for more than anything is savings, right? It's the savings on 3 specific categories: time, money, and energy. Those are the 3 things that utilities and municipalities have told us that they want to save on the most. That's sort of the top priority. So it's no surprise then that most utilities and municipalities across the country are going to be looking to pursue energy neutral facilities, right? So the less energy they use is the less time that it takes, saves more money. So it's all related. So I would expect, and I'm sure you would agree with this, Kevin, I would expect to see more of that talk of, energy neutral optimization as we go through 2026.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's, I don't want to say there's no excuse not to, but there's no excuse to not be moving in that direction.
Exactly.
Yep. Best we can.
So we'll be watching, America. So let's get moving if you haven't been moving yet. Number 8, industrial water. So, gosh, industrial water has sort of been in a corner of the market. When we talk about water, wastewater, drinking water, and then there's also like this industrial water category relating. But the reason why it's in its own little category is because it covers so many verticals, right? So industrial water can cover
very fragmented.
Right.
If you're in that industry, you know your water issues, but your water issue may be way different than another industry. So it's hard to just paint with a broad brush, but it's an issue for every industry, really. Water is central to manufacturing.
Everything, right? So semiconductors, food and beverage, pharmaceutical, fuel, all that stuff. The one I want to focus on real quick, though, if we can, right, before we move on to number 9, is data centers. So, gosh, I mean, if I had a quarter for every time I heard the term data centers over the past 6 months, I don't know how much money I'd have, because nobody hands out quarters anymore. But at the same time, we're thinking like those data centers are really big. They're growing. There's more of them, and they use copious amounts of water. So just some statistics to throw by you, Kev. Let's see if you're aware or can get within a million of some of these statistics. So
you're doing this.
I am. But you know what? I'm going to bring it down a little bit. Right. So we're going to be in the hundreds. So planned data center sites, around 650 new.
I was going to say that.
You were going to say 649, right? So you're just a bit off. Many are expected to break ground in construction in 2026. So that's 650 additional sites, right? With that being said, the completion of those, I'd say about a third of them will be complete in 2026. So think about that. That's another 220 or so data centers. Average number of gallons of water used in a large data center per day for cooling. How much do you think?
For cooling?
Yep,
how big the data center?
Large. We're going to go to, categorically speaking, a large one. Not an extra large one, not a hyperscale, but a large one. How many gallons of water you think it uses to cool?
250,000.
You're really close, actually. It's more. It's 300,000 gallons per day.
All right.
That's a lot of water, man.
But do I get some props for?
Of course you do.
That's
Yeah, I told you were close.
Yeah, all right,
Yeah,
thanks.
exactly. So with that being said, you get to then move on to the next guest, which is a hyperscale facility. How much water do you think they use?
Hyperscale. I mean, I got to at least double it, but I was wrong. So if I doubled 600,000.
It's not specific.
Oh,
Our
wow.
sources aren't specific, but they do say it is in the millions
Okay.
of gallons of water
For
a day.
One.
Right. One. So that just gives you an idea as to the scale of this, right? So data centers are going to be front and center of the marketplace because of the need. Like, how are local communities going to fill that kind of need if a data center or two data centers pop up in their neighborhood, right? Or in their town? It's a big challenge, right? And one that needs to be addressed. The good news is that solutions providers in the water and wastewater market are reacting to it. So they are coming out with solutions and guidance, ways that enable them to be able to keep these data centers cool and meet the water demand, which I think is incredible and a testament to the solutions providers that currently exist within the marketplace.
Watch out for that pending podcast to drop.
Yep.
Oh, we just talked about that with somebody.
Yep. That was a teaser.
Yeah.
We're teasing everybody now. We do have that coming up.
I noticed you're a data guy, not data.
Yeah, I'm a data
guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like Star Trek, one of the Star Treks, the dude
His
who was
name
on
is data.
Yeah, it's data.
Nobody called it data.
Right, data. Right.
All right. So that's where you get it from.
Yeah,
All
exactly.
Right.
Child
like
of the 90s, man.
Good a reason
Right?
as any. Yeah. Me too.
Exactly. Right. So keep it Gen X. It's data. All right, here we go. So we talked about data centers. We're on to number 9.
Number 9.
Cybersecurity becomes a public health issue in 2026. That is the prognostication of yours truly here on the Water Online Show.
I mean, can I say I hope it doesn't become an issue? Like,
well, how do you define issue? Right, it's going to be a topic. It's going to be discussion.
Something to be concerned with and to get ahead of.
Right.
I'm just saying. I hope there's no breach of utility that results in some catastrophic.
I'm not saying that either. I'm not calling that shot. What I am saying is going to be heightened focus on cybersecurity driven by federal guidance.
Needs to be. Yeah.
And increasing threat exposure. Right. Those were my notes from what we've learned over the past year.
Mm-hmm. The more digital we get, the more we have to be wary of that.
You know, I don't know if you listeners out there are aware of this, but I believe in season 1 we did a episode on cybersecurity. So I'm just going to take a quick quote from that interview, and you can go back to the Water Online show on Water Online and watch the episode for yourself. But one of the quotes that came out of that was, as utilities digitize more of their operations from SCADA to remote pump controls, cyber risks are evolving right alongside those digital tools. So as we see digitalization evolve and advance, which it does almost daily, it seems, the threat of the cyber risks go right up with it.
Yeah.
Right. So it's almost they trend on the same trend line. So just something to keep an eye on, something to remember. It's going to be part of the vernacular and the discussions in 2026. All right. Number 10. And again, these were in no particular order. So it isn't like this is coming in last.
Last but not least.
Exactly. It's still very important, is faster delivery models for the win, baby. In 2026, faster delivery models for the win. They are in their era, right? Design, build, progressive delivery, and modular treatment systems are favored for speed. Rick. Nobody fears Rick. Risk.
Rick's cool.
Yeah, Rick's fine. Risk reduction and cost certainty. Cost certainty is a great thing, if you ask me.
Yeah.
So, I mean, again, a quote coming out of a previous Water Online show is modularity is a resilient strategy. We talked about resiliency earlier in this discussion. But it goes on to say, if conditions change from regulatory requirements to population needs, which happens all the time in this market.
Right.
Regulations change, populations within your defined area change. Modular systems can adapt without needing major reconstruction. All right. So that's a winner right there.
Yeah, that's huge.
It's a big deal. So all that being said, everyone out there, that is the top 10 things to look for in 2026, the top 10 trends as we see them here at the beginning of the year. Kevin, how do you think we did there?
I thought it was fun, first of all, and we covered a lot of important topics. I think we did well. If I do say so myself, I hope the audience enjoyed, and every one of these topics is covered thoroughly on Water Online.
It is, without a doubt. So if you would like to listen to this podcast or share this podcast or listen to some of our other episodes here of the Water Online Show, you can find them on Water Online, wherever your favorite podcasts are from, whether that's Spotify or Apple Podcasts or on YouTube. If you are watching on YouTube, please don't forget to smash that like button. And for all of
the ring the notification bell too.
I think you do. Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, this is the era of Water Online and the Water Online Show here as we continue to be the top influencing voice in the market. I just proclaimed that here at the beginning of 2026. I have no evidence to back that up except for our extraordinary viewers and listeners and Water Online users out there. On behalf of Kevin Westerling, I am Travis Kennedy, and this is the Water Online Show. We cannot wait to see you back here next time. All right, we're clear.
Notice my sign off is this.